Just as the destination comes into view, someone steps in, piling on requests, demands, and expectations. It could be family, friends, or even strangers, but they all have one thing in common. They're draining you of your most precious resources, your time, your energy, and your inner peace. Let's be honest. Have you ever felt like life's go-to guy? Always there for others, constantly supporting, while you're slowly sinking under the weight of it all? If the answer is yes, this video is for you. Today, we're diving into 5 things you should never let others take from you. These aren't just physical drains, they wear down your spirit and leave you feeling depleted. But here's the truth. You weren't put here to live a life of endless compromise, chasing a owl, or carrying the burdens of everyone else. This is your life, and you deserve the peace, freedom, and happiness you've worked so hard to build. So stick around. What you're about to hear might be the reminder you didn't realize you needed. Let's get started. 1. Never take on responsibilities that aren't yours. Have you ever said yes, and then found yourself wondering why? Why did I agree to this? I have, and I know exactly how that feels. It always starts with a small request, a family member needing your help with something urgent or a situation you feel you can't refuse. But those little favors quickly grow into massive burdens. You go from being a supporter to the one holding everything together. The longer it goes on, the heavier it feels and the harder it becomes to let go. Think of it this way: even the strongest rope will snap if it's pulled too tight for too long. I've been that rope once. A relative called me asking for help, organizing a surprise birthday party for their child. At first, I thought I'd just help pick out a gift or give some minor assistance. But before I knew it, I was in charge of everything: booking the venue, planning the food, even making the guest list. Meanwhile, my relative barely contributed, saying, "You're so much better at these things than me." By the day of the party, I was exhausted, and they took all the credit for how well it went. When I finally told them how overwhelmed I felt, they brushed it off, calling me too sensitive and saying, "It's just one day." That's when I realized helping doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. I wasn't responsible for carrying the entire event when others should have been stepping up. Stoic philosophy reminds us that peace doesn't come from pleasing everyone. Marcus Aurelius said you have power over your mind, not outside events. Once I learned to set boundaries, I understood that saying no wasn't selfish. It was an act of self-preservation. If you're in a similar situation, ask yourself, does this responsibility truly belong to me? If it doesn't have the courage to say no, you don't have to carry the weight of your entire family. Remember, every time you refuse a burden that isn't yours, you're saying yes to your own peace and priorities. And that's how you protect yourself from being drained. 2. Don't let others take your money and financial stability. Imagine a peaceful morning. You're sitting by the window, sipping your coffee, savoring a quiet moment for yourself. Then the phone rings. A familiar voice greets you. It could be your child, a relative, or an old friend. But instead of a warm, friendly conversation, they need an urgent loan. You think, just this once, it's fine. But the truth is, just this once rarely stops. There, let me tell you about my friend David. He was the person everyone called when they needed help. One time, an old friend asked him for a loan to cover a financial emergency out of kindness. David agreed, but the requests didn't stop. One call was to fix a car, the next to pay a bill. David didn't just lose money, he lost his peace of mind. Every time his phone rang, he felt a wave of anxiety, fearing yet another request. What hurt him most was that his friend never thought to repay the money or even express gratitude. Here's what you need to understand. Your money is the result of your hard work, effort, and sacrifices. You are not a bank or a never-ending financial safety net for others to withdraw from. Without repayment, Stoic philosophy reminds us that happiness doesn't come from pleasing others, but from living in alignment with your values. and protecting your stability. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts every time you give. Without consideration, you don't just lose money, you lose peace of mind." So how do you handle this? Start by setting clear financial boundaries. Not every request is your responsibility. If you know the money will be misused or never repaid, have the courage to say no. This not only protects your finances, but also preserves relationships from unnecessary strain. Ask yourself if tomorrow you faced a health crisis or an emergency, who would step up to help you. Financial stability is one of the most important foundations for building a peaceful and happy life. Saying no isn't selfish, it's an act of self-love and a way to protect your future. Remember, money is a tool to build a better life, not a resource to fill the endless needs of others. By maintaining strong financial boundaries, you not only reclaim your peace of mind, but also allow yourself to enjoy the rewards of your hard work. 3. Don't let yourself be dragged into family conflicts. Family is often seen as a safe haven, but sometimes it can also be the source of endless conflicts, and the worst thing they can do, pull you into a battle you didn't start. Imagine you're enjoying a peaceful morning, sipping your coffee and reading a good book, when suddenly your phone rings. A relative's voice on the other end starts urgently detailing a disagreement with another family member. Tom's wrong, or brother never compromises, and then comes the familiar request you need to talk to them. I've been in a similar situation once. My uncle called me to mediate a property dispute with my other uncle. Although I wasn't involved, I felt obligated to step in, thinking it was my duty to keep the peace in the family. But what happened, neither side was satisfied. One accused me of favoritism, while the other complained I wasn't firm enough. When the conflict finally settled, I realized I hadn't solved anything. Instead, I had lost my peace of mind and felt more distant from both uncles. Here's what I learned. Getting involved in family conflicts rarely resolves them. More often, you just become the punching bag for both sides. Stoic philosophy teaches us not to let ourselves be drawn into circumstances beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You don't have to have an opinion on every event, and you don't have to carry every burden." This is especially true when it comes to family disputes. So how do you avoid being pulled in? Set clear boundaries. Don't be afraid of being misunderstood when you decline to participate. Remind your family members that everyone is responsible for their own actions. If you're pressured to get involved, calmly but firmly say, "I respect both of you, but this isn't something I should mediate." Most importantly, ask yourself, am I willing to sacrifice my peace and precious time to play referee in a fight that isn't mine? Remember, your time and energy are invaluable. Don't let them be consumed by necessary conflicts. Instead, use that time to enjoy life's simple joys: a good book, a relaxing afternoon, or a meaningful conversation with people who genuinely bring you peace. That's how you protect your soul and keep yourself from getting caught in the exhausting whirlwind of family drama. 4. Don't change yourself just to please others. Have you ever heard comments like, "Why don't you try dressing a bit younger?" or "Dad, you should learn how to use social media"? Everyone does it these days. These seemingly harmless suggestions often carry an unspoken demand: change to meet someone else's expectations. Change isn't inherently bad, but when you change just to please others, you risk losing the most important thing, your true self. Let me share a story about my friend Linda. She's a middle-aged woman who takes pride in her simple, traditional way of life. But when her grown daughter started her career, Linda often heard remarks like, "Mom, you should learn to use this app. The way you do things is so slow." At first, Linda tried to adapt, thinking it would strengthen her bond with her daughter. But the more she tried, the more exhausted she felt. Linda began to lose confidence in the habits and values she had built over the years. questioning whether she was enough in the eyes of her daughter's modern standards. Here's what you need to understand. Changing to grow is good, but changing just to meet someone else's expectations is a trap. Your values, habits, and beliefs aren't outdated. They are the culmination of your experiences, lessons, and the life you've worked hard to create. Stoic philosophy teaches us that. But while we can't control how others perceive us, we can control how we perceive ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Your happiness depends on living in alignment with your own values, not on others' opinions." So how do you stand firm against the pressure to change? Start by asking yourself, is this change truly right for me? Will it improve my life? Or am I just doing it to make someone else happy? If the answer is no, don't hesitate to say no. Respond with respect, but be firm enough for them to understand that you don't need to become the version of yourself they want. Remember, those who truly love you will accept you for who you are, imperfections, and all. They will respect the real you rather than trying to mold you into someone you're not. You don't need to trade your peace, pride, or self-worth for a role. This is your life, and you have the right to live it in a way that feels true to you, instead of trying to fit into someone else's mold. Stand strong in your values. That self-respect is the most enduring strength you'll ever have. 5. Don't put others' happiness above your own. Ask yourself, how many times have you set aside you own desires just to make others happy? How many times have you given up what you love to meet the expectations of family, friends, or society? Phrases like, "I'll be so disappointed if you don't do this," or, "Hey, I really need your help. I'd be so upset if you said no," may seem harmless, but they carry an invisible weight. They quietly suffocate your freedom and happiness. Let me tell you about Mark, a man who always prioritized his family and friends. Whenever his younger brother did help fixing his car, or a colleague asked him to finish their part of a project, Mark would drop everything to assist. He skipped his favorite gym sessions and missed out on games with his friends, things that used to bring him joy. At first, Mark thought pleasing everyone was his responsibility, but over time he realized people started taking his help for granted. No one asked if he had time for himself. Mark didn't just feel drained, he lost his sense of fulfillment. Here's the truth. Happiness isn't something you can sacrifice endlessly to please others. When you constantly put others first, they grow used to taking from you, forgetting that you need love and care. 2. You are not a supporting character in someone else's story, nor are you the fixer of everyone's problems while neglecting your own. The Stoic philosophy teaches us that happiness and peace are our own responsibilities. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man is happy when he lives in harmony with himself." So don't feel guilty for putting yourself first. Learning to say no isn't selfish. It's an act of self-love. If someone asks you to sacrifice your peace and happiness for them, ask yourself, is this really love or is it exploitation? Start by prioritizing yourself. Identify what brings joy and meaning to your life. Spend time on the things you love. Surround yourself with people who genuinely care about you, and take moments to reconnect with yourself. Don't hesitate to say no to requests that leave you feeling drained, instead of living to please everyone else. Focus on building a life that makes you proud and fulfilled. This life, whether long or short, is yours to live. Don't let anyone take away your peace of mind. Care for yourself as you care for others. Your peace is priceless. Protect it at all costs. And there you have it. 5 things that drain your soul, and more importantly, how to reclaim your peace, energy, and happiness. Life is too short to let your time, focus, or well-being be taken away by things that don't serve you, whether it's learning to say no, setting boundaries, or staying true to your values. The power to protect your soul is entirely in your hands. Imagine waking up tomorrow, no longer feeling drained by unnecessary conflicts or expectations. Picture a life where you prioritize yourself, surround yourself with people who uplift you, and pursue goals that truly matter to you. That's the kind of life you deserve. A life of purpose, balance, and peace. If this video resonated with you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on mastering your mind and life. And here's your call to action. Drop a comment below with one thing you're ready to reclaim. Starting today, let's take back control, one decision at a time.